Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown. Well, it's been a little while here since I got a video up to you guys, so I wanted to get something done this weekend. Relying on the Edmonton Oilers to deliver us some news lately has been a tall task, apparently, because in August that I thought was going to be a little bit busier with some maybe talk about Oilers extensions. We heard there was some rumors about Matthias Ekholm, Jake Wallman, guys like that, but it has remained very, very quiet here in oil country. So we did get a couple things over the last couple days, and a new report just yesterday from Elliot Friedman on the 32 Thoughts podcast. So I thought I'd report on those for you guys as we inch closer and closer to training camp next month. So first up, David Staples of the Edmonton Journal had this summation of some news on Oilers prospect Maxim Berezkin, who is currently playing in the KHL. This report came from the Russian publication Vespro Sport. Hopefully I'm saying that close to correct. Excellent news for the Edmonton Oilers in that top Russian forward, Maxim Berezkin, is making clear that he wants to come play for the Oilers next season. Berezkin was interviewed at length by writer Daria Toboltseva and made clear his ambition to play for the Oilers in 2026-2027. Huge news for the Edmonton Oilers as Berezkin has become a dominant forward at the KHL level. Asked if he dreams of playing with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, Berezkin said, "My dream is to play in the NHL against all those stars I have watched my whole life. I want to test myself at their level. Even if I am worse at first, I will not get upset and look for ways to improve my game." So last season in 66 games played in the KHL for Lokomotiv, Berezkin had 15 goals, 27 assists for 42 points, and in 21 playoff games, 9 goals and 5 assists for 14 points. Berezkin is a guy I'm very excited about. I was hoping that the Oilers were going to be able to work out a deal with him so he could join the Oilers for this season. GM Stan Bowman, to his credit, tried, but ultimately couldn't persuade Berezkin to come over to the NHL for this season, but all signs are pointing to him becoming an Edmonton Oiler for next season. He's a guy that should be able to step right into the Oilers' top 9. He's a power forward. He's going to bring some size. He's going to bring some skill, things that we know this Edmonton Oilers team desperately needs. So very excited to see Maxim Berezkin become an Edmonton Oiler next season, and let's hope he has one final strong season in the KHL. This next report came in from Elliot Friedman on the 32 Thoughts podcast yesterday. Team Canada meets next week in Calgary for Team Canada's orientation camp, and I would expect Connor McDavid, once he is done there, he goes back to Edmonton and they will work on getting this deal done. We know Connor McDavid doesn't like the limelight. He doesn't like the focus being on him, so I think everything points to this deal getting done here before the start of training camp. Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers both don't want those questions being asked. We've heard everything from a 2-year deal to a 3-year deal to a 4-year deal. I'm still personally hoping for an 8-year deal, but odds are it is going to be something shorter. Evan Bouchard kind of set that standard earlier this year for the Edmonton Oilers, signing his 4-year deal. So we've been as patient as we can be as Edmonton Oilers fans. There's been no panic. I mean, we know Connor McDavid is coming back. It's just a question of how long and how much money that contract is going to be worth, but we shouldn't have to wait too much longer. This has been reported in multiple different areas. We should get a deal with Connor McDavid here shortly after he returns from Calgary next week. So not too much longer, Edmonton Oilers fans, until we have a Connor McDavid extension in place. This next report came in earlier this week. It's pure speculation, but I'll do this summation here from David Staples as well at the Edmonton Journal. He reports, Kurt Lalonde of the Bruins Diehards podcast reported the following: when the Boston Bruins used their first-round pick in the 2021 NHL draft to select Fabian Lysell, fans saw a glimpse of that type of player that the franchise rarely has a chance to draft. A pure offensive talent with blazing speed, elite hands, and top 6 potential. Fast forward to today, and instead of talking about him becoming a fixture in the Bruins lineup, the conversation has shifted. Rumors are swirling the Bruins may be dangling Lysell in a trade with the Edmonton Oilers. Dominic Tiano suggested in my Discord that the Oilers and Bruins have been in conversations. So I saw this report earlier this week. I thought about doing a video on it, but nothing really seemed to materialize from it. We didn't hear it from any other sources. So don't put a ton of stock into this. I don't know Dominic Tiano well, if he's a reliable source or not, but until we hear something from an Elliot Friedman or a Darren Dreger or something like that, I would just put this one as pure rumor, but we'll see what happens there. Fabian Lysell might be somewhat of an intriguing prospect there for the Edmonton Oilers, a former first-round pick, as was mentioned there in 2021 for Boston. It makes sense that the Edmonton Oilers would be looking for youth. We know earlier this summer they traded for Ike Howard from the Tampa Bay Lightning, but what the Edmonton Oilers would have to give up to get Lysell, I don't know. And like I said, this one is pure speculation at this point, so keep an eye on it, but for right now, take it with a big grain of salt. And lastly for today, some prospect news for the Edmonton Oilers, and it's unfortunate prospect news. The London Knights of the Ontario Hockey League releasing yesterday that forward Will Nickel underwent successful upper body surgery earlier this summer, and his expected recovery time is 4 to 6 months. The Edmonton Oilers selected Will Nickel in the draft last year, along with Sam O'Reilly, who is now a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning. As you guys know, I was disappointed with that, but happy to get Ike Howard. And unfortunately, Will Nickel will be delayed in his development as well here. He will miss Edmonton Oilers camp and obviously London Knights camp, getting a late start to the season. But Will Nickel is somebody who is still a few years away from breaking into the NHL, even the American Hockey League. So this shouldn't be too detrimental, but a blow to see something like this happen to another young prospect for the Edmonton Oilers. We believe it's a shoulder injury for Will Nickel. So all the best to Nickel in his recovery, and hopefully he can get back on the ice with the London Knights this season as soon as possible. But I think that's all the latest there, guys. I'm sure more news as we get closer here to training camp will start to percolate, and hopefully we get some extensions on obviously that all-important extension for our captain, Connor McDavid. But one last thing before I wrap up here today, a very special happy birthday wish to Russ Jericho, big fan of the channel. Did an interview with him and Jeff Ottmeyer earlier this summer. You guys can check it out. I'll link to it here at the end of this video. So happy birthday, Russ. Loved hanging out with you last night and hope you have an amazing day today celebrating the big 4-0. So that's all for me for today, guys. Let me know your thoughts on all the latest developments. What do you think ultimately happens here with Connor McDavid, contract and money-wise? Let me know your thoughts and predictions in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.